Hey, welcome back to Blues Backlog. This is the second part of episode 4, where I'm playing through the Bureau XCOM Declassified. It's a third-person shooter set in the 50s where you're defending Earth against aliens, and it is the latest game in the XCOM series, which is a very prestigious strategy game series, and this is the first third-person shooter foray for it. And unfortunately, it doesn't quite live up to the XCOM name, which I'll explain during the gameplay video. Anyway, I'll let the game speak for itself, so here it is.
What happened in here?
The same thing that happened everywhere else.
Shouldn't someone be guarding the money or something?
What difference would it make?
What's going on here ain't got nothing to do with all of that.
Sounds like
This girl is
survivors.
sick, can't you
Real
see?
ones.
They're not gonna listen to you, Dad.
I hear him just fine, boy. He's wrong, is all. We can't leave her.
Whatever she's got, we could get it too. We got to get to... Thank God. You men from the army?
Tell me what happened to that girl. Maybe we can do something.
I don't know, but I seen it all around town. That was just before all this happened.
We might be able to get her to our doctors, but I can't promise anything.
That'll do just fine. We just gotta get out of here.
What happened to her?
Whatever got the other folks in town,
Why didn't you...
we tried. When the
So you hid down...
with those things running around, hell,
I'm looking for a doctor.
never heard of him.
Damn.
I don't even...
We have a mission.
You have to help us get out of here.
Head back out the way we came in. The street's clear.
Yes, sir, but
If she can't walk, you'll have...
I understand. Y'all hear that? They gonna get us out of here.
But Sarah...
I know, Miss Kramer. But we can't take her with us. And this is our only chance to get out of this town.
We'll come back for her when it's all better.
I don't know.
Look, I know you ain't the type of man to take advice from somebody like me. But we got a chance to get out of here. I'm gonna take it, and so should you.
Okay. It's our only chance.
I'm not leaving her.
Rose, listen to reason.
I'm not leaving.
I'll try and send help.
I've known her since she was just a little thing.
Her voice
Thank
really annoys me.
Once we're out of the town, what then? Is there anywhere left to go?
I don't know what makes you people think we're any safer out there than we are in here.
We've got guns, for one. Anyway, this is something that kind of bothers me. A couple things to note here. The glowing doors, really annoying. The XCOM Enemy Unknown, it was
Barnes,
a little
look through
more
the bank.
open.
Run into any trouble down there?
More talking.
Nothing we need to worry about.
Understood. I left you a resupply near the barber shop.
Alright, so, things that have bothered me up until this point. The glowing doors, not really a fan of those. The original XCOM, to be fair, was just sort of open areas, and some of them kind of funneled you straight down them. But you still had interesting ways to approach the situation.
Keep
You
a
kind of
sharp
got to
eye out
choose.
for resupply crates. They are an
Shut
opportunity for you to stock up on ammo and to swap out agents or equipment.
Thank you. This game likes to talk a lot about, hey, did you know, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't care. Anyway, Golden Doors, kind of obnoxious because it's basically just in a mission you're being channeled down a corridor, which is kind of boring. Also, the dialogue options are really, they're not bad, but sometimes they can be really arbitrary in how Carter responds. There are a few times where he just completely says the opposite of what you're expecting.
Barnes, Main Street is blocked. Can you see another way to the campus?
Ground's pretty torn up as you get near the university, Carter. You're gonna have to go through that muck.
Great.
They don't see us.
These first strike opportunities were always really annoying to me because They didn't really do a whole lot. You couldn't really hide from them very well. There's no crouch feature. The stealth is very rudimentary. And then they just, I believe this one just kind of randomly triggers on without me doing anything. It's really annoying.
That one's yours.
Contact! That's your target.
Confirmed. They've got that spot locked down.
That's a kill.
Lifting it. Focus on that one.
In my sights.
Attack!
Taking it down.
The experience system in this game I was also not a very big fan of, because in XCOM Enemy Unknown it was kind of based on when you got a kill, which made sense. It was a little unfortunate because you'd have guys that wouldn't get experience, so you had to make sure some people got kills. It was more difficult to level up lower ranked soldiers. Like if you got a rookie, you basically just had to give them grenades and feed them kills. That kind of sucked. But in this, it feels even more arbitrary. Like I was never really aware of how much experience someone actually had at any given point, how long it would take them to level up. The combo system was kind of annoying, and yeah, I just wasn't a very big fan of it. Especially because there were sometimes, like, it wasn't clear what exactly they had to do to be involved in a kill, because they did get assist experience that was the same as yours, but they never really told you what was an assist.
They were attacking a town. Why did they leave so many defenses?
It's their town now, and they plan to stay. Barnes, put me through to Falk. Who's that cover?
Where the hell have you been, Carter?
I think I know what's happening. They're not destroying the places they're attacking. They're setting something up.
Interesting theory. What do they want with Rosemont?
No idea. Maybe this doctor of yours can tell us. If he's still alive. Let's stay together here.
I've forgotten that I had grenades at this point. Oh, here's the first encounter with my least favorite kind of enemy.
Barnes, the campus is up ahead. It looks clear.
Carter, watch out. Multiple hostiles incoming.
I'm glad he can tell that from inside a helicopter, and I can't tell it from on the ground.
What in God's name is that?
Ouch!
Get behind something.
Oh shit, Muton.
I like how, what in God's name is that thing? And then he immediately knows what to call
In
it.
my sights.
Stims!
Stims ready. Damn things are armored.
So, the biggest problem with these Mutons is the armor. Armor in this game is a really boring, obnoxious, and stupid mechanic. In Enemy Unknown, Mutons were problematic simply because they had better weapons and more health than anything you would have fought before. To simulate that in this game, they simply gave them a armor which made them a bullet sponge, which I thought was really dumb. It wasn't interesting, it wasn't fun, and you would really just have to sit there and plug away at every single piece of armor until finally, because you could do location-based damage, but it didn't want to register very well, and it was completely unknown if your teammates would actually do location-based damage effectively. Like, I imagine the sniper can get headshots, maybe if he only does critical strike, I don't know. But I never really felt comfortable leaving it to my teammates because I wasn't sure whether or not they were going to be aiming for the weak spots, which is why the armor just felt completely obnoxious, because if I knock off one piece, that's fine, but then I have to rely on myself to do the damage, and one person isn't going to do a whole lot against them, at least until you get the rocket launcher, the blaster launcher, as it's called. Then Mutons start to become a little bit easier to deal with and not a big problem, but
up and away.
Yeah, Mutons, armor. Sectopods have armor too,
target.
And they're a pain.
Targeting.
Withdraw its fire.
Come on, you dumb bastards!
That's your target.
Targeting! Ow!
That was another thing I didn't like in this game, was that you didn't have a guaranteed time to fire. It was really annoying to me that it did that, because in Enemy Unknown it was turn-based, so whenever you gave fire, you never really took fire. There was a way you could actually shoot the enemy when they were shooting at you, but that was only if you got a certain skill for the support class, I believe. It's been a while since I played it. Might have been the heavy. It's either the heavy weapons or the support gets the ability to do reaction fire to prevent enemies from shooting. But in this game, it's like if you peek out of cover...
None that I can see. You're clear to enter the building. Dr. Weir's office should be inside. I'd start looking for him there.
If you peek out of cover in this game while enemy fire's going on, you're going to get shredded, and it feels like there's always something shooting, and anything can deal a lot of damage. And one, it's kind of problematic for you because there's no real way to know who's going to be shooting from where very effectively. And two, your allies will just kind of stick their heads out anyway, so they take a lot of damage. And that's just kind of really frustrating and annoying.
Yes, Commander?
This looks bad.
Nobody could still be alive in here. Just keep looking for Weir.
Don't shoot, don't shoot!
Dr. Weir?
No, I'm Lawrence Bailey. I work with Dr. Weir.
What are you doing here? Do you have any idea how dangerous it is?
I know, but Alan... Dr. Weir, he won't leave without his research notes.
Where are these notes? Why are they important?
Well, they represent years of his work and discoveries. If you need Dr. Weir, he'll need his notes. But I've already got most of them, so you just make sure he's safe.
How do I know we can trust you?
Well, I could ask you the same.
It worries me when people don't answer my questions.
Forgive me, it's just... they swept through here and killed anyone who resisted. My friends, my colleagues, some of them... they looked human at first, before the attack.
They did that to us too, but believe me, we're gonna pay them back.
I'm sure Alan can help you. He has a real gift.
Now all we have to do is reach him. No weapons, no training. How are you still alive?
I know my way around here well enough to stay hidden. Or at least I did, before they began their terraforming.
Seeds? Terraforming? You mean the machines that keep growing?
Yes, and don't get Alan started on trying to study those. It's already hard enough to convince him to leave.
What's so important?
My theory, or rather, our theory, posits that it is possible to bridge 2 points in space, allowing the
So you think that's how the...
Obviously, but more than that, the Doctor and I think that it could be the key to reaching wherever...
Head back out.
I'd prefer to meet you at the observatory lab.
You'll never make it.
Trust me.
Barnes, we found Weir's assistant. He says the doctor's holed up in a lab under the observatory.
That's across the campus from you. Head out the back and you've got a straight shot.
Good. No telling how long Weir's gonna last out there. Looks like notes and lectures on broadcast encryption, transmission patterns, and electromagnetic things.
It's all gibberish to me.
Me too, but apparently not to Dr. Weir. That's why we need him.
And that's why we're going to leave these notes here.
It's incredibly complex, Lawrence. Remarkably noisy, but there is a pattern.
I'm sorry, Alan. I'm just not hearing it. And please don't take offense, but neither are the instruments.
Yes, I understand that, but I don't know. I can feel the pattern buried in the chaos.
Feel? I'm sorry, Doctor. It's just not... Well, it's not a very scientific approach.
You're a bright boy, Lawrence, but you've got a lot to learn.
Is that so? Such as? We are systems, are we not? Instinct, feeling, these are simply components of that system. Why should they be ignored? These are rather archaic concepts. Archaic? What does an American know of archaic? But yes, I suppose those who teach modern science have dispensed with feeling, but those who practice science have not. Interesting. Lawrence, you're a brilliant student. But if you were to join the world beyond the classroom, you're going to have to learn to include your instincts in your practice. Yes, I see.
Falk, there's an outsider weapon here, in one piece.
All the ones we've seen so far explode when the user dies. The boys in the lab will want to get their hands on that.
I'm gonna see if I can secure...
Be careful, Carter. It could be a trap.
It wasn't.
Whoa! There's the observatory. Now, how to get there?
There, en route.
Alright, so this last part brings up some of my least favorite elements of the Bureau XCOM Declassified. The first and smaller point is the random plot holes and unexplained events that happen throughout, and well, straight up contradictory events that happen throughout the game. The reason the scatter laser was kind of a surprising find for me is because when you first get equipped, there's some German doctor, I forget his name, he gives you your little glove thing that you wear on your right hand that lets you use your special powers, and he's going on and on about it. And he's like, yes, this will allow you to take the weapon of an enemy that when the weapon has not been imprinted with the owner's DNA. So basically they have some sort of DNA registration system for the outsider weapons, which is why they explode when the outsider dies, because it recognizes that the user has died and therefore it self-destructs its weapon. So it's explained that you're supposed to be able to use this glove to steal the weapons from the outsiders before they can detonate them, or to grab the weapon before it's been DNA imprinted somehow. It's really not clearly explained. But the doctor says, I'll tell you when to use it, because Carter's like, oh, I don't understand what you're saying. I'm just the point man. I shoot things. And the doctor's like, fine, whatever. I'll just tell you when to use it. Don't worry about it. You never actually have to use this glove gauntlet thing. You just pick up weapons. And they all keep saying, like, oh, the weapons explode when they die. Well, that's also contradicted about 2 missions later, because once you start picking up things like scatter lasers and laser SMGs and laser burst rifles, pretty much every single outsider drops theirs as ammo. They don't blow up. You just pick them up and it's free ammo. So there's like outright contradictory elements within the narrative and within the game mechanics, and it's really dumb and stupid because the original XCOM, and by the original XCOM I mean Enemy Unknown, handled this just fine, where you can't get alien tech unless you research alien tech, which makes sense. Like, they're using lasers. We don't have lasers. I guess we should kind of look at what we can recover from theirs and try to reverse engineer it, which is how you get better weapons. You have to spend time to do it. In this game, they just kind of hand it to you, which gets to the really, really big problem I have with this game at a fundamental level. To be a bit blunt and cheeky and a bit dickish, this game really feels like the Bureau XCOM on handouts. Like, we needed a bailout from the alien government, so they just gave us one of their scatter lasers. Oh, look, they just left a backpack blueprint lying around. Oh, look, they left a blaster launcher lying around. Oh, there's another laser pistol. Oh, well, it's a good thing the army just kind of, like, cluster bombed the area with, the M14 rifles and ammo packs. Oh, well, it's good that the aliens drop weapons now so that the player can continue to have ammo, because we made that a mechanic for whoever knows why. Like, I don't know why they implemented ammo, but they did, which is why you have contradictory things like the weapons dropping later on instead of exploding, is so the player can have things to shoot with. So the fact that it just hands you things instead of actually having to work for them is really, really disappointing to me. In Enemy Unknown, it felt like you were outgunned in the beginning. Like, your ballistic weapons just weren't very good. You were just a ragtag force that was scrapped together to respond to a threat that no one thought was coming. And in this game, it's more prevalent than ever before because you're in the 50s. They're flying helicopters. There's points later where it's like, we need to escape from the aliens flying, jet ships and our helicopter that can totally outrun them. Doesn't make any sense. And the helicopter can't outrun them, first of all. And so we're massively outgunned in tech in the Bureau, but they don't even have to research anything. They just give everything to you. And there was a really great opportunity to have some kind of cool development go on with research and science and things like that, but it just never happens. They just kind of give you things, and then you get to push a few buttons in the base to show they're developing things. But for the most part, it's you get to pick whatever 2 weapons you want at base once you've picked them up in the field, so just pick everything up once, I guess. And it's just really disappointing that you don't actually have any sort of progression. It's just, as you go through the game, you get arbitrary handouts. The backpacks, there's really only a couple of them worth using, and you don't even have to do the side missions. The side missions appear to be for experience only, which is really, really frustrating. Anyway, more on that as we get through the second half. This has been 30 minutes of the Bureau XCOM Declassified. I still have 2 15-minute sessions left to go through, so I'll see you next time.